to Mystery Shack Look Back, a nostalgic time capsule and no spoiler book club of the original Gravity Falls fandom. We are your curators. I'm Charlie.
I'm Ella.
And you're listening to NPR WBEZ Chicago.
So I'm thinking about how I am now on NPR.
Stocks and bonds?
Was it the voice I was doing, David, that made you say that?
Yeah, the chill radio voice. That just sounds like an NPR host to me.
That's right, everybody. Now it's 9 o'clock. Where are your children at? That's right, they're in school.
And here's the commercial break with Alexa Quizon.
Welcome to ASMR.
No, I said commercial break.
No, this is a commercial. This is
It's a
just the free
commercial for
sample.
ASMR. Today's episode, canned tomatoes.
I love. Are you gonna open them in the microphone for us to listen to?
And squish them with your
slosh
face.
them
No, I don't
around
want to
a
watch
little?
that, actually.
No, this is a commercial. You're buying the canned tomatoes. This is a
I
trick.
have to pay for the rest.
Capitalism.
Well,
Yeah.
guess I got to get my wallet.
Paywalls, you know?
Yeah. That ASMR commercial left me on a real cliffhanger, and you know what else just left us on a real cliffhanger was Gravity Falls, gang.
The Sylvester Stallone movie Cliffhanger?
The Sylvester Stallone cliffhanger film actually has a definitive ending. It was a complete misnomer.
Well, the last episode of Gravity Falls literally ended on a to be continued, and I'm pretty anxious to continue. There was a bit of a break between the episodes, so what could we possibly have done to fill the time between these episodes with this massive cliffhanger, Charlie? What could we do? Oh, like the same thing we'd been doing for weeks up until this point.
I have to give a little more context to this one. Because this is directly tied with why I chose to become a voice actor, and that also ties into all the pipe dream stuff. I'm an actor. I know I'm an actor.
We're unlocking more backstory here, more lore.
More lore.
It wouldn't be a finale without like spending a bunch of time with behind the scenes lore drop.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when I decided that I wanted to be an actor online, I had no real preference to live action or animated, so my first two series were a Pokemon cosplay series, which was incredibly expensive because you had to buy all the costumes and the props, and if someone was eating sunflower seeds, you had to purchase sunflower seeds. And then an abridged series of Sonic Underground, which was completely free to do.
You saying that you did some live action Pokemon content as well as, abridged dubbing over a cartoon is basically exactly what Michael was doing in high school.
I imagine, Michael, I've noticed that Michael and I are incredibly similar.
Charlie, you and I would have been the best of friends in high school.
It's not a past tense scenario, Michael. You and I
Our best friends
the best
in
of
high
friends.
school.
In high school, yeah.
Well, no, you don't want to meet that person, though. I don't recommend, actually, that you hang out with high school Charlie. Yes, the Sonic Underground Abridged series actually started when my friend Ray and I were watching a bunch of YouTube poops. And she had watched a Sonic Underground one and was quoting it to me at school the next day. And Hermanic and Sonya were outstanding. You don't need to take my word for it. Can you say, can Manic say, "Welcome to Mystery Shack Look Back"?
Welcome to Mystery Shack Look Back, my dudes.
And then can you just say Sonic Hedgehog as Sonya?
Sonic Hedgehog!
So,
Wow.
yes, so one of those was free and one of those was really expensive. So I was like, I am a voice actor. But I had said that if I ever made enough money making videos that I would go back to live action. So as I had stated last week, what probably happens in Gravity Falls was the reason that I reached the payment threshold and started receiving checks from YouTube. And we had stopped doing the Sonic Underground Abridged years ago. But I remembered in one stream, a commenter was like, that person you're with, Ray, kind of sounds like Wendy. And when I started watching it with Miles, he was quoting Seuss all the time. And I could learn any voice. And it was Seuss, Wendy, and Dipper who stepped into the bubble in the cliffhanger. And there was a brief live action segment
in the weirdness bubble in part one, yeah.
So I got them all together at my house. So please let me play you this very special and expensive episode of what probably happens in Gravity Falls.
Are we recording?
I think so, dudes. Is it the red button?
Yeah, I see a little red light. Okay, welcome to Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained.
Today's episode, Escape from Mabeland. This is a weirdness bubble that was designed to keep Mabel prisoner.
And it's made out of trains, dude.
There seems to be a staircase. Alright, guys. You first!
Come on, Dipper, don't be chicken.
Okay!
Yeah.
Wow.
That was great.
That was really good.
There were only 3 voice actors in Sonic Underground Abridged, me, Ray, and Miles, so that was also a reunion episode.
Aw.
But it's not the only reunion. The reason you heard Ray earlier is she is in my apartment. When we finish recording, Miles is coming over, and for the first time in 11 years, tonight we are writing an episode of Sonic Underground Abridged because no one but us asked for it. We don't even know how to distribute this. We might not even post it.
But the trio's back together.
Oh, we're getting the band back together.
Yeah!
That's
So-
awesome. The Ray's Wendy is spot on.
That's
Oh,
just
yeah.
Ray's normal voice.
And the costumes were fantastic. That was the What Probably Happens in rendition. The actual episode, Weirdmageddon 2, Escape from Reality, is the 19th episode of Season 2 of Gravity Falls, the 39th episode overall, and also, $1 Million Word, the penultimate episode of the entire series. That means that it's not quite the ultimate one because they had to write it with a pen.
Right, penultimate.
Do you know what that makes the last episode? I actually just learned this word.
What would that mean?
It would be the anti-penultimate.
Oh, I have an anti-penultimate.
So that's
She's nice.
that's what the previous episode we recorded was, the third to last episode.
So the so Dipper and Mabel versus the Future is the anti-penultimate episode.
I guess so.
No, that's the great auntie. Great auntie penultimate.
The great.
Oh yeah, you're right. And so is it kind of like how
Yeah, great. And then it's just keep adding greats from there.
well, or is it someone who just really hates penultimate episodes? 'Cause
Oh,
I feel
they're
like that could
anti.
be it too.
I don't associate with pro ultimate episodes.
Like
Penultimate
when you go to an Italian restaurant, there's a section on the menu for people who just hate pasta.
This is actually a
Anti-pasta.
Kristen
I
Schaal
know, I
joke,
was
speaking of
surprised.
Mabel, where during her stand-up, she has one of my favorite joke from her is that she's been experimenting in the kitchen. She mixed pasta and antipasto and created an explosion.
Yeah, that's great.
This episode is titled "Escape from Reality."
Yeah.
So, what do we think this is a reference to Tony's podcast? Then
Oh, I was
Absolutely.
thinking it was a reference to Escape from Reality. Oop, there goes Gravity Falls.
I was thinking, yeah, maybe Mabel's trapped in Walt Disney.
So this episode, when written, was titled Escape from Mabeland, but they were worried that if people saw that on the TV guide, it would lead to too much speculation, so it was changed to Escape from Reality, because I remember when we made the What Probably Happens in, we weren't 100% which of those two was the episode name.
Yeah, much like with Northwest Mansion Mystery, Northwest Mansion Noir, it was like it's like, is that the title?
Well, Escape from Reality is vague, and Escape from Mabeland conveys what the plot of the episode is.
A little bit.
which sounds like Alexa's predictions last time are going to be spot on.
Maybe.
No, I don't know.
Well, the episode premiered on November 23rd of 2015 on Disney XD. The episode was directed by Matt Brawley, written by Jeff Rowe and Alex Hirsch. What do you know?
Hey.
But no Matt Chapman. Does that mean there's not going to be any Xyler and Zaz?
I wouldn't say there's no Matt Chapman. So let's just watch the episode and find out.
A world gone weird.
It's 1 o'clock, everyone.
Has only one hope.
We need to grab Mabel and get the heck out of here.
She's at the top of the tallest tower.
Mabel's bubble is the most diabolical trap I've ever created.
Guys, if I die, I want to die hugging.
Brand new Gravity Falls, Monday, November 23rd at 8 on Disney XD.
Ladies, gentlemen, that creature with like 87 different faces.
So, David, Alexa, how do you feel that Xyler and Craz are real now?
They've always been real.
Are we real? Is this reality?
No, they were a character from a cartoon that Mabel purchased, never got a chance to watch. She imagined they were in Stan's head with her in Dreamscapers, and when she had a land catered towards her
Of course
interest,
they were there.
They were there. But as Mabel's fantasy shattered and she escaped from Mabeland.
They're still there.
They escaped with her, which means they were just born. They were fictional up until this moment.
No, I understand all that. They were just always real to me, is what I was saying.
So the fact that they exist in reality now is not even a factor to you. You're like,
but were they born
arbitrary.
to the same parents? Are they brothers?
They have no idea.
I mean,
just watched
technically,
Weird-
I mean, if they were born from Mabel's mind, then would that mean that Mabel is their metaphysical mother?
In Dreamscapers, she wanted to watch Dream Boys, but Stan insisted on watching Grandpa the Kid instead. So she has never even seen the movie they're from, but she did not make them up. She just put them in Stan's mind later that day because she was disappointed that she didn't get to watch it. And judging by them saying, "Are we brothers? I don't know," in this episode, she's still never watched it.
Well, at any rate, we just watched Weirdmageddon 2, Escape from Reality. Hey, Alexa, David, and Michael, what did y'all think of this?
Hey, Alexa.
And
What
us.
do you think of this?
I am a big fan of goofy cartoon characters trying to contemplate philosophy and existence, and that's probably comes from a healthy diet of Calvin and Hobbes as a
It's
kid.
happened 3 times now in Gravity Falls media. First, it was Schmebulok in Legend of the Gnome Gemulets. Then it was Ghost Eyes in Weirdmageddon Part 1. And now, I think they're going to have to start a whole Socratic seminar.
Existential
with
crises are funny, is really what that is all about.
You're right. Well, yeah, because they also did it with Stan. Is this all there is? Is life just some sick joke without a punchline?
But for the episode itself,
Yeah, for the episode
Yeah.
itself, I have to say, like, I have never in my life seen so many things that I've wanted a tattoo of.
Right, we kept saying
Yeah,
that
it's like-
every phrase and every, image.
Right, because I was already thinking maybe I should just get the symbol on Mabel's sweater, the star with the rainbow, very subtle, because I don't want to get the whole sweater. I just think, like, if anybody knows Gravity Falls, they'll be like, that's Mabel, right? But then,
Yeah.
knowing me, I always like to get obscure references. Like,
What was
Right.
the quote we said from this one that you wanted?
Oh,
There was a couple, there's two.
Set the world aflame with your weirdness was
What
one.
if you got the shooting star from the Mabel symbol from the cipher wheel, and then under it wrote, "Set the world aflame with your
that's
weirdness"?
pretty good.
That's good.
one. The second one, there was another one, Ella. I think
Another quote?
Yeah, I swear you and I pointed out something, and then, or even Charlie said, like, you should get that as a tattoo.
Well, I know you wanted. I don't remember the quote, but I remember the Pug Sunday was
the
one
Pug
that you
Sunday
wanted as
was
a
the
tattoo.
one I landed on. I was like, that.
I think that would be the
Pug Sunday.
perfect. If you wanted just an image, it would be the Pug Sunday.
It
'cause
has to be the
that's
Pug Sunday.
obscure enough, but also it's a Pug Sunday. How can you say no to that?
Exactly. First of all, I love doggies. I love food, and I love Mabel. And I was like, what magical thing could I possibly have on?
It'd be like an
my
ice
wrist?
cream version of Quasi.
Exactly. I could do that. A quasi Sunday.
Yeah.
It's not a full Sunday.
It's a quasi
Yeah,
Sunday.
quasi Sunday. Yeah.
Let's discuss how they escaped from the prison bubble, where all of Mabel's fantasies come to life.
I mean, this was one of the most interesting ways to do a clip show episode.
Right, which Michael, that was your
Michael.
prediction, right?
Remember, Michael predicted this, which was great. Yeah.
It's kind of came true. I mean, it also focused on some flashback, sibling moments as well.
Flashbacks that we didn't see previously
stuff
in the
that like
show.
brand new
Yeah.
stuff. So
It's
that was
like
cool.
it's like the community clip show episode. There, got in my community reference. Okay,
Got it.
Okay,
You got it. You got it.
you
It's a
can take a
little
shot
like
now.
that. Yeah. So most versions of the script ended with a chase or a fight, which is how almost every Gravity Falls ends. And it was Jeff Rowe who said, "We've already done a chase. We've already done a fight. Have we done a courtroom drama?" And everyone was like, he's like, "What if we put the concept of reality on trial?" And everyone was like, "That is really unique. And that's way better than anything we thought of."
And it works for something as ridiculous as Mabeland. I think originally it was going to be a chase through the scrapbook, like it was going to be
Yes,
through
yeah.
all the so maybe that would have been more a standard clip show.
This also is kind of a reimagining of what Dreamscapers was supposed to be, of going into
That's
each
right.
of everyone's mind. There's a lot of reused stuff, not just Xyler and Craz, but a lot of the stuff that are in here were meant for the
Yeah.
Mabel's Mind segment in Dreamscapers.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone caught it, but when Xyler and Craz first show up and are driving Dipper, Wendy, and Seuss through Mabeland, yeah, okay, Michael got
Yeah.
it. I saw from the look on Michael's face that Michael got it.
Michael,
they passed
say it,
by.
say it.
Yeah.
Well, I assume you're talking about when they both like put their heads back to laugh, and there's like this rainbow that goes behind them, and it's
yep.
like I'm like, oh, that's absolutely
The
He-Man.
exact background
Yeah.
of, hey, yeah.
You guys interviewed him, right?
Slack Circus, yeah.
Oh, awesome. On Thank You Internet.
What was it like seeing his work referenced in Disney without his credit or compensation?
Like seeing the rest of his work being credited without
That's
any sort of
exclusively how he
compensation.
distributes his work.
As he would say it, though, is that he would be beyond thrilled to see that people are enjoying his work, regardless of whether or not.
Oh,
that
so
they
he's
know
like,
it's him.
Very
he
true.
he would be thrilled, but he's a vegan, so he has to do beyond thrilled. They say it's just like being thrilled.
Or impossible thrilled, but not quite as good.
The reason you know of the Hey Yeah 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 meme is
Yeah.
because people illegally, without his permission, recorded it and uploaded it to their own channels or websites and went viral
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, that's how it is sometimes, unfortunately.
They call that freebooting, by the way. That's the term.
I call it the only bad kind of theft.
He was able to still be able to get money off of those by licensing the cover because that is
yes.
him singing the song. So at least he gets money for licensing the covers for all those.
And I
re-uploads.
believe that the person who, I believe that's an Emmy Sisuriga joke in the boards, which makes it a double thank you internet, sort of.
Kind of going along with what Alexa was saying about like the little references, I loved spotting the subtle references that like weren't they weren't exactly obvious, like the references that were changed just quite a bit just so that like they avoid copyright claims and stuff like that. Like the Slack Circus reference was definitely one of them.
Although Disney does own Club Penguin at this point, so
Oh,
they
yeah,
can
they-
just straight up. Those were just straight up Club's Penguin.
Okay.
The plural of Club Penguin.
I believe so. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like if I was like, I'm going to the club, I wouldn't pluralize the business name, right?
No, yeah.
I also noticed, and I think Ella, you mentioned this too. Like one of the frog, one of the plushy frogs that was on the tree, like the stuffed animal tree, kind of looked like Kermit. In the courtroom, there was a blue Big Bird kind of knockoff. There was a few of those like just throughout, and I would have to go through frame by frame to just kind of like pinpoint.
Oh, so wait, you're suggesting for someone to go frame by frame and point out all of the references that are contained inside of Mabeland? Who would be meticulous and annoying enough to do? Oh, I did that. Okay. Now, granted, this is references to Gravity Falls, not references to external things.
Sure.
But it's very meticulous. And it has a really annoying CinemaSins ding, so I'm sorry about that. So that video will be linked right in the description. But another great visual reference comes to us from the radical, supportive, high-fiving Dippy Fresh. How do we all feel about him?
That was like so much of just remembering when Ford was relieved that he missed the 90s. This is what he missed.
He has he sees like articles about 90s pop culture and has nightmares about things like this. So David, you pinned what the visual homage was.
Yeah, I was immediately like, it's a BK kid.
Which BK kid?
But what is the name of the head BK kid who the design of Dippy
he's
Fresh
the
is
leader?
based
I did not
upon?
realize.
He's the leader of the bunch.
I don't know him that well.
I mean, just look at him. Of course he would be the leader. He's the one with the backwards hat.
But what is his name,
Ella
David?
only knows a BK Kids Club from Gravity Falls.
That's correct.
BK
Alex
Kids
Hirsch.
Club is peak, 90s kids group where it's like you've got to have every sort of like type of looking kid, but the straight white man is still going to be the leader.
His name is Kid Vid.
Kid Vid.
Yep, that makes sense.
I'm assuming that is a nickname. I'm assuming his full name is Kiddio Video.
Yeah.
But yeah, previously, my other frame of reference for the BK Kids Club prior to this was that Alex in a Reddit AMA said that the opposite way that you should be writing Dipper is IQ from the BK Kids Club, because he's always saying, according to my calculations.
I was in a family of all vegetarians, for the most part, except my dad. And there was a big PR fiasco that McDonald's was using beef-based oil in their fries, which should be a vegetarian item, and not mentioning on the menu that they were not a vegetarian item. Ooh. And because of that, a lot of vegetarians in the 90s in boycott, including me, who was 6 when the 90s ended. Yeah, I just didn't go to McDonald's until the 2000s. And so we were at Burger King a lot because we did not have any money and we never went to McDonald's. So I am deeply familiar with the oeuvre of the Burger King and its kids club.
Dippy Fresh, I would say, is kind of an unholy mixture of Dipper and Kidvid and Poochie the Rockin' Dog.
It's like if Dipper and Poochie fused and then decided to dress like Kidvid.
Yeah, and I love that even Dippy Fresh is even, like, drawn in a way that is not the show's style. Like, there are lines on his ears and his mouth is different.
And his colors are way more saturated than Dipper's. Like Dipper's vest is kind of a navy and his shirt is kind of a salmon, whereas Dippy Fresh has just bright blue and bright red.
Yeah.
It's like his teeth are also very straight and clean.
Yeah. Oh, I hate him.
Was that still Jason Ritter doing the voice?
That was Alex Hirsch.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, it was like the voice is definitely different, but I wasn't sure if...
This character basically feels like every corporate, what is cool, let's put it together in an amalgamation of a shell of a character. And even within that, there's like a reference, like a subtle reference to Bart Simpson at one point, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, because he skateboards and he's got
he specifically says like, hey, like, he basically does like a don't have a cow man type of moment.
Hey, take a chill pill. Those grow on trees here. You stay out of this, Dippy Fresh!
Speaking of the colors, I didn't notice this when we saw these characters before, but I think just in bright saturated Mabeland, I realized how Xyler and Craz, their colors are that like kind of washed out 80s cartoon. Like they've even got like a different color palette to them.
They are partially based on Jonathan Knight and Joey McIntyre's design in the 1990s cartoon New Kids on the Block, the New Kids on the Block animated series, because a GIF from that series became a popular meme under the title "White People Dancing."
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like
so
the 5th Google image result for white guys dancing.
So what you're noticing is probably because they did the dance from the GIF in Dreamscapers, and there are some. They're not 1-to-1, but there are some visual references to that white people dancing GIF in their design.
Yeah. I'm so glad all of the best characters came back. We had several times back.
Yeah.
Yes. But also, I just want to point out one of the characters, the Meow Wow cat, because I've just noticed that a lot of kitty cats that are animated always say meow meow at the end.
Yeah, like, what's the BoJack one?
Officer Meow Meow Fuzzy Face, my favorite character.
Yeah, it's almost the exact same name.
Yeah.
Judge Kitty Meow Meow Face Schwartzstein.
When I heard that, I was expecting that same voice actor.
And another one is, and this is showing that I was a computer teacher. I would teach my kids games from Daniel Tiger, and one of the characters, Katarina Meow Meow, who I think was the daughter of another Mr. Rogers cat.
What's the Mr. Rogers neighborhood cat that always said meow meow?
Is it like Henrietta or something?
Yeah.
No, I could be wrong.
No,
I could be
Henrietta.
very wrong.
It's definitely Henrietta.
My cat's name is Henrietta.
There you go.
Or Henrietta, but my cat never makes any noises for some reason.
But basically, if you like click on the characters, because they all say something, like Daniel Tiger says, Ugga Mugga, which is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, he does say that.
And then so Katarina, she goes like, because we're supposed to pick them up on the trolley, and she goes, "Can you pick me up, meow meow?" And I'm like, she's calling everybody meow meow.
The judge does. I think my theory is that that's just how cats end sentences. Because Jon Stewart as Judge Kitty Meow Meow Face Schwartzstein, which by the way, I love that on the wiki, and I guess presumably in the script, Face Schwartzstein is hyphenated, so like
Right, of course.
that's a
So
compound
one of the
last
cats
name.
was named like Cutie Face, and one of them was named Mr. Schwartzstein, and
Aw.
then they had a kitten.
Yeah, but he says.
Us cats are famously curious. Meow meow.
So I think that's just how cats end sentences, and it ends up on their birth certificate.
Right. Michael, can you confirm that our podcat also ends sentences in meow meow?
Oh yeah,
He ends
absolutely.
everybody's sentences in meow meow, not just his own.
It's more like it's not even meow meow. It's meow meow.
Exactly. Exactly.
Alex Hirsch is a huge Daily Show fan. That is why the very first guest star is correspondent John Oliver, and why not exactly why correspondent Kristen Schaal is the main character, but it didn't hurt.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
contributed to him being a fan of her.
So he had been saying since he started the show that Jon Stewart was his dream guest.
Professional soccer player Jon Stewart.
as luck would have it, Jon Stewart happened to be a big Gravity Falls fan. He mentioned it in 2014 on The Daily Show.
You don't ever run through the gamut of cartoon?
No.
Did you watch? Were you a fan of the cartoon?
Yeah, for sure, when I was a kid.
No, believe me, I don't watch them anymore. Even though they're incredibly interesting and sophisticated, and Gravity Falls has these incredible plot lines.
All right.
Okay.
But you can tell how genuine he's being, because he's like, at first it's a joke about like, oh no, I don't watch
Like,
cartoons.
I don't watch cartoons anymore.
But he's like plugging Gravity Falls even though he does not have to. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. The judge himself is designed after the Meow Wow sweater from the very first episode. And
I always read it as Toby Determined. Meow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
he does have cat whiskers. He does.
Meow, meow. Oh, wait, he also says meow, meow, meow in that episode after
He
admitting
does.
his cat
I
whiskers.
think that's just.
I would not be surprised if Bodacious T was part cat.
You're right. I'm sorry
Yeah,
for dead naming
he
him.
is.
That was on me. Bodacious
But
T.
David, he is canonically part cat in one of the shorts. They
Wait, I
reveal
don't
that.
remember that, but
Yeah,
that sounds right.
he says when Mabel is drawing the same cat with slightly different features
Caricature!
and inventing NFTs.
Yeah.
When she gives one to Bodacious T, he says, "It even has the actual cat whiskers that doctors can't explain." And then he hugs it and goes, meow, meow, meow.
That's right. Oh my god.
Oh, Jack, that is not John Stamos. Meow, meow. Why doesn't she? She's had to train herself not to say meow, meow.
You know
at
who
the end of
also?
the
You know who
sentences.
also? Speaking Community, Unikitty, Allison Brie.
Did she also say
in
meow,
Lego
meow?
She
Movie.
says meow, meow. She does.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, my fear. Okay. If you can.
And in the Lego Batman movie, Catwoman says meow, meow at the end of her sentences.
You're right.
Yes.
I would not be surprised if all of these are just of reference to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, I
gotta be.
feel like Mr.
Maybe.
Rogers did this in the 60s and 70s, and everybody
I
who
think
makes movies
all
now
of
saw that
these
as a kid.
and Michael and Ray in the next room can confirm. All of these are just based on how people talk to their cats or pretend
Yeah.
their cat is talking.
Like little babies.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber also famously says meow, meow at the end of every sentence.
Andrew Lloyd
Yeah.
Webber.
He
What
based
you
a
have
whole
to
musical on
understand
it.
about
Yeah.
cats is Andrew Lloyd Webber actually just really likes Cats the animal.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
why he wanted to make a musical based on Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats, because he's like, there's poems, there's cats
About
in them.
cats.
I love this.
This
Jason Derulo's going to
book-
be in it, you know? Like,
This book
yeah.
has everything. It has cats. It has poems.
It has more cats.
It's got Judi Dench.
I don't think Jason Derulo was part of the initial Broadway pitch.
Oh, I know
Alexa.
that.
One day there's going to be a man named Jason Derulo, and he's going to be in this musical.
He's going to be the Rum Tum Tugger. Definite article for some reason.
Scotrick?
Hey, is that a Rum Tum Tugger over there? How dare you? That is the...
Jason Derulo.
You'd think with these powers
The Rum-Tum-Tugger.
of like foresight, he could have at least Andrew Lloyd Webber could have at least warned us about James Corden.
I think Andrew Lloyd Webber could have warned us about a number of things and chose not to.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could have warned us that he was about to write a sequel to Phantom, but he didn't.
How long did he know about that Judas thing before he adapted it into a musical?
Right?
Could he have warned Joseph? Joseph is
Yeah.
what I call Jesus. No,
I mean,
Joshua.
how long
Sorry,
did-
Joshua.
I thought the Phantom musical was like a fan-made musical, like 50 Shades of Grey was.
What if Well, no, you know what? Jesus Christ Superstar is
It
a
is.
fan-made musical.
He's a big fan of
100%.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
It is based on a pre-existing
Peter wrote
published
it,
work.
or Paul, one of those, or John, or Ringo.
Is
One
it
of
gonna
those.
be me, Jesus? Am I gonna betray you?
King David, maybe.
King David, Bob the Tomato. Yep.
What TV show are we talking about again?
Oh, Dippy Fresh.
Oh, okay.
Dippy Fresh.
So, much like Poochie, who he kind of resembles, and keep in mind, Poochie died on the way back to his home planet. Charlie, why don't you read the tweet that Alex made talking about what was originally going to happen to Dippy Fresh at the end of the episode?
So, and this might have just been to vent their own frustrations, and they didn't actually expect Disney to keep it in.
It was all the way to a board.
There was, up until the storyboards, a moment in the script. So when they were storming out of Mabeland, in the storyboards, I do not think anyone actually thought S&P would say yes. I think they were just fucking with them. Alex tweets, "Fun fact, Dippy Fresh was originally murdered by Dipper. I wonder why Disney made us cut it." And the actual scene is, as Dipper's leaving Mabeland, Dippy Fresh says, "Your hat is on backwards." And Dipper says, "Your head is on backwards," and then snaps his neck and kills him.
Yeah.
Great.
And he falls to the ground in a very realistic way. It's disturbing.
And I think
Red
this,
eyes.
this is based on Alex Hirsch's actual relationship to Kid Vid, given that he discovered Simpsons when he was 7 and stopped watching children's media.
And the detail that Dippy Fresh successfully flips Dipper's hat backward before Dipper kills him. Like, that's what sets him off finally, is like, you touched my hat?
This looks like a Chris Houghton board, because it looks like the art style of Big City Greens.
As someone whose entire personality is based around their hat, you never, ever touch another person.
You're with Dipper here. It's
Absolutely.
like, yeah.
I think that was in self-defense. Your Honor, Judge Kitty Kitty Meow Meow Face Schwartzdy, and that was in self-defense.
And of course, again with the another subtle reference that when Dippy Fresh falls over, he falls over in the Family Guy corpse pose.
Of course.
Wait, oh my god, he does!
Yeah.
Yep, he does.
Hey, Michael, speaking of which, I'm sorry that Mabel's lawyers were not Buddy and Suggs, attorney at Paw.
I know. I was...
But David and Alexa needed a pick-me-up, too, and they were
have
delighted.
a doctorate degree in hunkiness.
Yeah.
And international and criminal law.
But I wouldn't be too worried, Michael, because there's plenty of your favorite character in this episode, right?
Yes.
Seuss.
Not only Seuss, but also Ducktective.
Yeah, Ducktective and Seuss's dad. We get to see.
Seuss's dad! Strong dad!
Yeah, there was some kind of visual homage in that design. I couldn't really place it. Did any of you guys catch it?
Some kind of WrestleMan.
I don't know.
Senior Cartage.
So Seuss imagines his
Oh yeah,
dad.
Senior Cartage, yeah.
Seuss never having met his dad, but knowing... Well, his dad is actually white, but he imagines his dad to be Mexican like his mom, because that's cooler. Mm-hmm. And Seuss imagines his dad to be a luchador. And so Alex Hirsch and team had to design a luchador. So they're like, what if absolutely no shirt, like nothing on the top at all? Maybe black tights, red boots, maybe like a red mask with like a little blue sort of triangle at the top. And that was what they decided on, and that was the first time anyone had designed a luchador. Thusly, I imagine, unless anyone here has a podcast that could tell me otherwise.
Well, what are the odds of that?
I mean, if it you know... I didn't want to say this, but it kind of did look like a little something that Matt Chapman whipped up one time. I think his name was Strong Bad. I think.
Coincidence.
But I mean, he had a beard though, so I mean, this guy had a beard, so
he did have the mustache and a beard. So it's a senior cargage.
He's more senior card gauge. Yeah,
You're right. Mm-hmm. You can put on a big handlebar mustache in the costume booth in Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People. So you could, and a wrestling belt. You could actually play that game as Strong Dad.
But does the wrestling belt say Poppy on it?
No, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
He won the belts for being a dad.
But that's how we know he's Strong Dad.
Yeah!
The crew learns from their mistakes. It would have been so easy to cast Matt as this character, and they did not.
Yeah!
They cast Eric Bauza, who is of Filipino origin, which is not almost there.
Mm-hmm.
It's It was colonized by Spain, and that's a start.
I feel like it's obvious Matt was in on the joke as well, but I think that for legal purposes, he might not have been able to do it.
You're also right, because Homestar Runner does have a lawyer.
Yeah, this was something that
His name is Buddy and Suggs, attorney at Paul.
We had an episode on Come On Fahoogle Pods where we interviewed somebody who... Oh, what was that phone game called, Michael?
The pig one, right?
Yes, there was a cell phone game that...
Hogs on Deck, I think.
Hogs on Deck. There you go. So they had they've got a bunch of unlockable character skins, and they had one that was inspired by Strong Bad and wanted Matt Chapman to do voice for it, but for legal reasons, their lawyer said, no, you're not going to do the Strong Bad voice for this. So instead,
Mike had
Matt
to do
Chapman...
it.
Yeah, and instead, Matt Chapman voices a different random skin on this.
A pirate.
Yes, exactly, a pirate skin.
Has one of my favorite pirate jokes of all time, where Matt goes, "Up on the poop deck there, which I'm pretty sure is just the normal deck until someone tells me different."
Well, that's, I mean...
So it's probably, that was the reason why Matt Chapman was not
That's
the
an
voice.
Interesting, because Matt Chapman made Strong Bad, but isn't allowed to bring him where he wants to.
No, but they wanted to copyright protect it, and it is necessary because Arby's loves referencing old internet memes on their Twitter, and Strong Bad is quick to quote tweet them and be like, "Hi, that's actually owned by someone who uses it to feed their family."
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for referencing an extremely obscure video with no views and not linking it.
And meanwhile, the He-Man meme guy is like, Arby's, you're just preaching to the choir at this point.
We all know my video is amazing, Arby's.
I do want to say that I was, from a story standpoint, a little disappointed to see Seuss's dad, because I felt like it was...
Well, we really didn't.
Well, yes, but...
I get what you're saying.
It was such a great character moment in that... What was that episode titled?
Blendon's Game.
Yes,
that
is true.
Game.
But in that game, he realized that the father in his reality was not worth meeting.
That's fair, but I think, especially to see Dipper is woken out of the fantasy, because as an expression of his character growth, it's a little sad that Seuss did not have the same opportunity. But
it's honestly, the whole series, outside of that episode, been important to the character of Seuss, that he does not have a father figure in his life. That is why he shows this loyalty to his first boss from when he was 12.
Yeah. And I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I feel like
it was still it was still funny to see a Strong Bad reference. But
I think they make it work also because
he's Mexican. My father wasn't a terrible white guy.
I was gonna say they make it work because Seuss's interactions with the dream father happen off screen, but we get Dipper being tempted by a fake Wendy, and we get this proving that he, like in the last episode, proving that he has actually grown from the experience of having this one-sided crush, because he realizes pretty fast that it's a fake Wendy, but
yeah. Red flag.
What I love is that y'all realized it the second that the fake Wendy said, you're so much smarter than everyone else.
Yep.
All three of you were
nope.
nope.
No.
Because Wendy would never stroke Dipper's ego
Yep.
And
the funniest thing about having a YouTube channel dedicated to this series when it was on Disney Channel and most of the viewers were children is I would regularly get people in my streams "Oh, do you ship Dipper and Wendy?" And I'm like, you and I are not watching the same show. We have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think what it justifies the Seuss thing, at least in my mind, because it shows us that this land is giving everyone a moment of weakness that they are that they snap out of. But it's for a second there, you're oh. But what snaps Dipper out of it and makes him realize that the Wendy's fake is the same as from Into the Bunker, when the shapeshifter took the form of Wendy.
Wendy does her secret's safe with me kind of thing. And
zip lip. Yeah.
Yep, her zip lip thing that she does a couple other times. And then the shapeshifter does a flirtatious wink, thinking that's what Dipper will want, not thinking that's actually what Wendy is.
Mm-hmm. And then she turns into Bugs. Didn't like that.
Bugs Bunny?
Yes.
No, that was Seuss's dad.
Gotcha.
Eric Bauza.
He did turn into Bugs Bunny after this. You're right.
Eric Bauza's great. He's a great voice actor. He's underrated, honestly.
I've been saying that for years. I once tweeted at him. I never finished this video, but I was like, it says your additional voices in these episodes of Rick and Morty and these episodes of Gravity Falls. I'm working on voice actors that are in both episodes. I don't know who you are. And then he gave me every single time his voice could be heard in those episodes and then followed me on Twitter.
Aww.
Eric Bauza is the coolest.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll also say that Wendy turning into Bugs moment definitely also reminded me of season 1, episode 11 of BoJack Horseman, Downer Ending, when BoJack's
Diane.
on his crazy drug trip and then starts to kiss Diane and realizes that he's still tripping, and she turns into a crazy John Carpenter monster, like The Thing.
Turns into a crazy Rob Bottin monster. Credit where credit is due. It was his first job. He was 20 years old when he did the special effects for that film.
Yeah.
Diane was like, "BoJack, you're so much smarter than everyone else." And BoJack was like, "Diane would never say that."
Also, it's not true.
Not at all. And acknowledging that I suck means that I suck less, right?
Yep.
Speaking of people who suck, how about that Bill Cipher, y'all? What do we think of Bill, huh?
Yeah, I mean, can't even get out of the city anymore, the town.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trapped.
There seems to be some natural property of Gravity Falls that contains the weirdness within that Bill just didn't know about and didn't plan for. Oops!
Womp womp.
Yeah, at first I thought that had something to do with the unicorn hair setup that we saw in a previous episode, but I guess this is something new.
Right, because the unicorn hair is only protecting the shack.
It's gravity.
It's tangentially related to Tale of Two Stands, where he goes to Gravity Falls, trying to figure out why there are more cryptid sightings there than anyone else. It is like he never discovered that, but now the audience is getting a hint at it in that scene.
But yeah, the unicorn hair is only surrounding the shack, so we know it's not that. But we also get the reveal that all those townsfolk that were turned to stone have been stacked on top of each other to make a throne of human agony, which I love for him.
That's very great.
It's like the sword throne from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, only better.
Or the knife throne from Knives Out.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
And this is actually foreshadowed in the Bill's Reddit AMA when someone asks what his fangirls should do, and he responds, "I strongly encourage all of my fangirls to take something psychedelic, walk into the Nevada desert, and form themselves into a large throne to await my coming."
So he's got a thing for human furniture, and I can respect that.
Yeah.
And so does Seuss.
He did want to be an arm throne in Dreamscaperers.
And his grandma is a chair.
Oh, well, he was just like, dude, when I grow up, I'm going to be a chair just like my Abuelita. Arm throne, dude.
He has strange aspirations.
He does.
I will say that Lazy Susan kind of becoming not stone anymore was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of a little foreshadowing of the fix there.
That means that it's like turning them to stone is like anesthesia. It can wear off and they can wake up.
Apparently. Mm-hmm. But your omelets will have funny faces.
And Bill did not know that was the case and doesn't seem to care that much.
Or maybe he did. He was just like, that's going to happen sometime.
No, well, he said he thought they were, he said to the best of his understanding, they were not consciously aware.
Oh, conscious. Yeah,
and then he was proven wrong immediately and it's like, it's whatever.
Tuck that one away there. I love when they do that. That's another thing they do a lot on the show dialogue-wise. It's like, oh, yep, tuck that one away. Yep, back in you go. Yeah. Yep. So, I want to point out something about the flashback to the school picture day.
Can I point out my silly CinemaSins ding about it first?
Point out your CinemaSins ding.
They set that scene in autumn because they were tired of drawing the summer. Because it was a 4-year TV show, and they didn't realize that it'll be just like summer camp meant drawing the exact same color grading for 4 years. So that's why when Stanley meets Stanford and Gravity Falls for the first time, it is in the winter. And that is why the school picture day is in October or November, a month or two into the school year. None of them know each other yet. They're looking at this yearbook like, the memories of when we showed up in September and didn't know what school was going to be like.
Wait, isn't that where school picture days normally happen? The beginning of the year?
That one's interesting. No, it's always at the end of the year when they're working on the yearbook. The yearbook comes out at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, how about the fact that that two of us work at an elementary school, and I'm pretty sure I got my picture taken in
I am just saying,
I took mine in the fall.
I'm not saying that no one has ever had a picture taken of them in autumn at a school. I am saying that every school that everyone who worked on this show attended did theirs while the yearbook was being made.
Yeah, they set it in the fall in order to have a quick visual signal that we weren't in Gravity Falls.
A quick visual signal as well as just an excuse to draw autumn colors.
They were in California, right? Because California, that's where me and David are, so that's why it was in the fall.
Oh.
See?
Okay. Yeah, they went to Egbert Elementary.
Is that real?
There's another aspect of this that it takes a while for those pictures to even process, to be to be printed.
That's
and
right.
all
You
of
gotta
that.
get sent your proof.
See,
of,
by the way,
what you can.
I just looked this up. Egmont Elementary in Piedmont, California is Alex and Ariel's real elementary school.
Okay, yeah. Egbert Elementary was too weird of a name to not be based on a real school.
Because I knew they were from Piedmont, and Dipper and Mabel are set in Piedmont for that same reason. So I looked up Egbert Piedmont, and sure enough, that's the name of the elementary school.
I would be curious now that we have two entirely different narratives on when Picture Day usually falls. What your listeners remember as their picture
email
day.
us at mysteryshacklookback@gmail.com and
we will read about that. I am just saying that Alex Hirsch's experience at Egbert Elementary in Piedmont, California, did not have an autumn picture day, and that was invented for the show to draw autumn colors.
My CinemaSins ding is that in Weirdmageddon Part 1, the previous episode, Dipper explicitly says that they have this twin thing where their allergies act up at the same time.
Yep.
And Dipper in this flashback says, "Darn allergies," and Mabel's just fine. Like, why would you set that up in the previous episode?
One of the funniest clips in the commentary is in regards to that in regards to the idea of twin ESP. And I just love the way Alex phrases it is, I don't know what she's thinking when she is speaking. You're expecting me to figure it out when she's silent.
Yeah. Alexa, I recall that you had a particular connection to the awkward sibling hug in Tourist Trap.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I mentioned that's what would happen if my brothers tried to hug me, right? Because it was just like, all right, it's always, I definitely hug my mom and dad. And then when it comes to my brothers, we kind of just stand there and go, all right, here we go. We're about to do it. And then we
pat.
I was like, yeah, and it's like we get to the pat first before the hug, so the pat is sufficient, and then we go, we don't need to hug. That's good.
Oh, so it's one pat and you're done, basically.
Yeah, I tried to do two just to show, okay, I did the first pat, measure. The second one was real,
It's because I really care about
you.
Exactly.
And if it's 3 pats, that's trying too
much.
Hard.
That's
they'll
too
catch
much.
on.
Yeah.
You got to limit it at 2, or they're going to realize that this is performative.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But have you ever done a sincere sibling hug?
Oh my goodness, not with my actual siblings. If it was in theater, I'd be like, "Come here, sister," it was like Drake and Josh, but not
hug me, brother.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, it's a great moment, and how did we all feel about their just arc through this episode?
I'm so happy that this show is really hanging the emotional core of the whole series on their sibling relationship. I think that's such a wonderful thing for this show to and they've done a really good job, especially in these last couple of episodes, at making this a relationship with depth and making the conflict not be some silly TV conflict that can be resolved by somebody just misheard somebody say something. Like there's
you mean like the previous season's finale?
Yeah, there's an actual genuine conflict here that, like, you know, in Dipper and Mabel versus the Future, I was kind of on both of their sides. It was that kind of a thing. It was like, I totally see where Dipper's coming from, and I totally see where Mabel's coming from.
Absolutely.
And I legit don't know how they're going to resolve this.
And how do you feel about the resolution that they went with? Because I know, I don't remember which one it was who was saying, like, I don't know if Dipper's saying what he's actually going to do. Was that Michael?
That was me, yeah, because, like, he suspiciously had his fingers in his jacket when he was saying that. And I know that that's kind of like a Dipper thing to do anyway.
I never know what to do with my hand.
I dipped it in my pockets.
Yeah, but it's just like that could easily, like, because suspiciously, he said the line, and then he, like, when he was done making the promise, then he took his hands out. And to me,
right,
like, in any, I'm just so used to, like, the liar revealed type of story where it's just like, oh, whoops, I crossed my fingers. But then that was kind of disproven later when Mabel kind of goes, you know, you don't actually have to do that. And
yeah. It connects to, I've been thinking about, Alexa, I was thinking about your idea of Mabel not being in the bubble, being somewhere else in the woods, having learned to survive, like, on her own, and that being a way for her to learn, like, oh, even if Dipper, like, I feel like they couldn't not end it with Dipper staying with Mabel.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of Mabel having that extra reassurance of, like, even if we do grow apart, I will be okay. Like, I
was definitely projecting something in that moment. Because I feel like there are times where I was like, oh gosh, if David, you know, went into a bubble, what am I going to do? Who's going to get me some cheese for my grilled cheeses? You know, like, and then I realized,
grilled nothing.
And then I realized, wow, I actually can make my own cheese. I can't make my own cheese, but I'm sure I'll figure it out of desperation, right?
I can churn my own butter.
Buy some milk and then get lazy with it. And bada bing, bada boom.
Exactly. And then, you know what? Eventually something will come out of that. It'll be grilled something. Yeah.
Grilled yogurt, maybe?
Yeah, some grilled yogurt.
I don't really know how to make milk ferment into cheese specifically.
Yeah, I had a grilled cheese and it was really green. Is that okay?
That was Mountain Dew. That's okay.
Oh, that's right. It was a Mountain Dew.
You had Mountain Dew grilled cheese?
Only.
I thought it was the Shrek 2 promotional grilled cheese.
We did that.
That had green.
Wait, hold on a second. I actually have to gag.
Only 2 people who are listening to this podcast are going to know what that is because they've also been at the Mountain Dew taste test that we did.
So I think it's interesting to listen back to the previous episode because a lot of the theories that the three of you had ended up being spot on, but then Alexa, like the thing about Mabel going off on her own, I'm honestly always like more interested in the theories that aren't necessarily accurate but tell like an interesting story as well.
Here's Mystery Shack Look Back Season 4 is we show someone the first episode and then get them to write what they think would happen in the rest of the series.
Yeah, because it's always interesting. And that's what I love about, like, that's what I always loved about the fan theories. Wasn't being right necessarily, but getting to imagine what happens next.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes from a place of investing in these characters, so yeah.
Well, I think constantly about how Alexa believed that all of Stan's different identities in the different states he lived in Not What He Seems were clones. That's what the copy machine in Double Dipper was foreshadowing, that Stan owns a cloning machine. And I'm like, that is a completely different show. Alexa has just made a different show with the same characters in the same world, and I want to watch it.
Yes.
And I think that, like, that alternate version of this episode where Mabel was surviving on her own has, like, I think can fill a similar narrative purpose, just comes to the same conclusion in a very different way. And maybe not in a way that gelled with the vision of the crew, but it's, I'm very curious about it. And I just think it's, in general, a really interesting and bold and smart choice to have the second part of this big, epic, action-packed finale be an incredibly character-driven episode, because it's all about Dipper and Mabel's arc in this episode. It barely correlates to Weirdmageddon or Bill or anything like that.
But they do a really good job at externalizing the character-driven stuff so much with Mabeland, and so
it's still exciting.
Even though it's like very, very character-driven, it is all on the screen.
Yeah,
you're right. It's visually done.
Also,
course.
I think if you've invested in a character that much and you can relate to a character in some way, you would hope that they would come to a conclusion in a way that feels real to you as well. I know, yes, I would love to figure out how to survive in the woods someday. But again,
I can teach you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I married David.
I'm really good at starting a fire now, apparently.
Perfect. Yeah, and a lot of that, again, comes from a place of getting really disappointed by Smallville and coming up with multiple...
That's just your, like, Doofenshmirtz
That
backstory.
is my villain origin story.
You see, Betty the Platypus, back in Gimmelstump I watched Smallville, and it disappointed me.
It was Alexa's favorite show that she didn't enjoy any of. She liked the Community
Exactly.
because they were
I was
able
so
to.
mad.
They were really
Yeah.
good at writing a good show, and they're like, "Wow, if only you guys wrote the show that we have to watch together."
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Gravity Falls great is because, like,
it's as well written as the fan fictions of Smallville.
Exactly, because they have the same amount of care for these characters as the fans do. They're not necessarily listening to the fans because,
Right.
again, that can also be dangerous, which is why, as much as I love being right about my theories, I also like it when they say, "Oh, Alexa, I know you're thinking this, but I'm going to make her in the bubble,"
And I guess what I also love about this, on top of it being so character-driven in the middle of this epic storyline, is that these episodes are literally titled like sequels of each other, and yet Weirdmageddon Part 1 stands on its own. Weirdmageddon Part 2, like, Part 1 is the apocalypse has started, going from hopelessness to having hope and getting to the bubble. And now Part 2 is, we're in the bubble, now we have to get Mabel out. That is its own self-contained conflict.
And then Part 3 is...
We get a small inkling as to what might happen in Part 3. What happens at the very end there?
Inside the Mystery Shack is filled with all the mystical creatures, right?
That's right.
In Last Mabelcorn, we saw the shack be fitted against Bill's powers, so...
Presumably that's why they're all there. Grunkle Stan is there, of course. We also have Celestabelle Abethabelle, the unicorn.
The Multi-Bear, Alfred Molina, Doc Ock from Spider-Man. We had a lot of traction for our podcast when we just someone made a post like, was anyone going to tell me that Alfred Molina voiced the Multi-Bear, or was I going to have to find out for Mystery Jack Look Back?
So now he's back for this bit part.
We need a name for this guy. What about the Bear? That's crap. The Multi-Bear? No. Wait, I've got it. How about the Multi-Bear? That's I like it.
And it's confirmed that the multi-bear doesn't do that in the woods, unlike regular single bears.
No, he used a bathroom. And then also from his episode was...
Chutzpar, the Manitor, is in the shack.
All them gnomes are in that shack.
The Bats biker, who is the biker that Mabel charmed with the fortune teller, and who a tear was brought to his eye by their twin costumes on Summerween.
The man who married a woodpecker and his wife, a woodpecker.
Although his wife appears to be turned to stone. Like, his shoulder is stone. Yeah. There's also Grenda.
Candy.
Pacifica.
Old Man McGucket.
Sheriff Blubbs.
It felt very Shrek with the all the fantasy creatures.
Attention, fairy tale things.
Yeah.
What are you doing in my shack?
Exactly.
Well, which is hilarious because, I mean, up until this point, the shack has been filled with, like, fake mystical creatures, and now it's filled to the brim with real ones.
Do you think the gnomes and manitors are looking at the stuff like, this is what you think of us?
So, this episode released November 23rd. There was no confirmation yet on when there would be part 3, the series finale.
All we knew is that it was going to be the finale of the entire show.
So we didn't know when the show would be over. We were like, cool, that ended in a cliffhanger. When's the next part? We had no inkling.
But wait a minute, what happens next? Come on,
let's see the next episode. So Thurp Van Orman on December 2nd tweeted a picture of him crying and Alex smiling, and he wrote,
"Just recorded the last episode ever of Gravity Falls with Alex Hirsch. Hashtag Gravity Falls. Hashtag Lil Gideon. Hashtag Little O Cry."
Aww. So me and some other people who had a vague understanding of how television production works is like, oh, They're still recording it? Is it,
Is it almost done?
Is it not animated yet? Does that mean they haven't sent it to Korea yet? Because, do we have to wait a year to see the final episode of Gravity Falls?
I mean, I guess if we do have to wait a year, it'll give us lots of time to, think about some stuff. What do you think of that, David?
Ladies, gentlemen, and that creature with like 87 different faces.
88 different faces!
Right this way to the Hall of Conspiracies. This first theory comes from Visiting Cookies on the subreddit. Anyone else think the UFO has something to do with the force field? Just notice how it covers the same place where the UFO is in.
That's true. It does cover that same area, and Ford did discuss maybe the UFO is what attracts the weirdness.
Attracts and contains.
Maybe.
I like that idea.
This next one on the subreddit comes from Super Taco. They say, when Bill said there was a bubble keeping him in Gravity Falls, my first thought was that he was talking about Alex and the Gravity Falls team keeping him there. And he's going to have to break the fourth wall to escape.
It wouldn't be the first time that he's done that.
And Super Taco is also known as Dan Salvato, and a year later, fleshed this idea out into Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's not true, but
maybe it is, though.
It is, in fact, the final boss of a video game where, yeah.
How do we know Super Taco isn't?
Super Taco probably isn't Dan Salvato.
That's true. The odds are against Super Taco, unfortunately.
Color Cat on Reddit says, oh man, the townsfolk barricaded in the shack. Pacifica in torn clothes? Totally gonna have to borrow one of Mabel's sweaters. A llama sweater, perhaps? Were they all holding bats at the end?
They had weapons of various kinds.
Oh my goodness. Okay, the llama
Including
is coming.
Oh, you're talking about you're saying because they were holding bats.
Yeah.
That's a piñata.
It's a piñata.
The final, Bill will be defeated moments into Weirdmageddon Part 3, and then the real big bad will come out and say, bet you forgot about me, Dipper. Like Sue said, you should always be prepared. Well, where's your bat now?
I warned you, dude. Do you have any theories of your own, David, Michael, and Alexa?
Two things. Two versions. Okay. The llama's coming into play. Okay. The llama, the piñata llama, is either it kind of works like a Ghostbusters situation where it encases Bill Cipher. They might have to crack open said piñata. Bill goes into the llama. That's where Bill lives forever. Bill and llama. There you go. That's one.
Okay.
The Bill
so
llama.
it could
The
be
Bill
a
llama.
containment for
Thank
him.
you. Exactly.
A llama?
He's supposed to be dead.
Second thing is, you know how we always go into the characters' minds, like Bill's always trying to get into everyone else's minds, but
The Stan's mind, Mabel's,
exactly. And then, but there's always this hint of, come play with me. I'm Bill. So of course Mabel, of course, is the heart, but again, the heart doesn't work without the head.
Well,
which
Robbie's
is
the heart.
Okay, that too. Yeah, maybe Robbie shows up or something, but like. Dipper and Mabel, I think, understand. Again, I think this is all about emotional intelligence at this point, because there's a lot of intelligence happening, but I think they need to tap into the emotional intelligence. So I feel like what they're going to do is they're going to go into Bill's mind. Maybe the llama opens up Bill's mind somehow, and then we see...
going into Bill's mind for
and then
once.
we can see his childhood. Maybe he was a little Doritos chip. I think he was a tortilla chip that turned into a Doritos chip that turned into Bill Cipher. Yeah, I think that's Mr. Peanut and then Bill Cipher. Sorry.
That's true, because we know basically nothing of his backstory still, and we're on the last episode.
Exactly. And we have to know the villain's backstory, otherwise why are we fighting this villain, right?
Right.
So we probably see that Bill probably went through the same thing that Mabel and Dipper went through.
And Stan and Ford.
But did not have...
It is happening again.
But without a twin. Unless... But without a twin. Does that mean there is a twin or that he wanted a twin? okay, this got bigger than I
really
expected.
like that.
Or maybe there's a missing piece somehow that Bill Cipher has to fit into to feel complete. We don't know. Either way, they have to tap into
like
that
a triangle-shaped peg.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
I'm trying to fit myself into this square hole. I don't know why it's...
fit in this square hole?
Exactly, because, you can't force a triangle peg into a square hole. So
you can't.
That was the whole thing. So maybe...
So is that also how they're going to defeat him then?
Yes.
With the square hole?
And it's not that they're defeating him, they're helping him.
Helping him fit in.
Okay, you think maybe we'll get a little redemption?
Exactly. Why is the throne moving every now and then? Because, right?
I'm torn because I think that the key to destroying Bill is to know what Bill's limitations are. Mm-hmm. And what we see in this episode, even though it was super brief, we saw that, one, Bill doesn't know everything, and that he can be surprised, that his powers have limitations, and that when he was looking at possibly bringing back Stanford, right? He basically has a photographic memory of all of the journals. And so I'm thinking that with all of the imagery that we've been seeing in regards to Bill, that Bill is I want to say not a figmentation, but a manifestation of Stanford in a way, where they are two entities that are one, that he basically is. It's like his intelligence personified.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that to kill Bill,
we might have to trap him back in Stanford and maybe figure out what to do with Stanford.
How would you trap him in Stanford?
That's a good question.
The llama, obviously, right?
Because Bill, back in Dreamscaper, said,
I know lots of things.
But he never has claimed to know everything.
He also says in the AMA that he puffs up his resume whenever he's talking about his powers.
Yeah.
Dress for the job you want.
Yeah.
I know I brought this up last time, and it's weird that this is a character who keeps sticking out to me, but it was very suspicious to me that when all of Wendy's friends showed up, that Robbie was not there, which made me think that we didn't necessarily see him get statuified. And what if
we heard a recount of it?
Yes,
we heard that he was
account,
texting.
but even that account didn't even specifically say what happened, just that he was taking a selfie. And so it made me think about could this reality only manifest people if they were, captured or statuified in some way? And that's why, or there's something else with Robbie for why
there's
he
also
wasn't
that
there.
they broke up recently.
Yeah, that's true. But it still seems weird
I will
that
give a counterpoint. In Love God, they share a smile. They seem to be
on better
terms.
Maybe they hang out sometimes, but it doesn't mean they're not ready to go back.
Maybe.
What if the camera selfie stopped him from being fully statued?
See, that's what I was also thinking. That's what I started
his
to think.
form in an image form.
Well,
okay.
I will say. I will point out that the things that were capturing people and turning them into stone are eyeballs.
Yeah, and so it really made me think about I feel like part of this next episode is going to be getting everybody who's got the symbol around the circle. And if I'm not mistaken, there's only 3 symbols that I can think of who are not currently in the Mystery Shack. Gideon, who we know is not statuified and is running around somewhere.
Well, he's being captured and being brought to Bill, apparently.
But he has not been captured yet.
Right.
Robbie, whose fate happened off screen. And the only other one is the glasses are supposed to be Ford, right?
So this is what people were thinking.
The only 2 questions remaining are, we still really don't know who the llama is.
Or the ice bag.
A lot of people think llama may be Pacifica because there's a painting of a llama in her house, and ice bag may be Wendy because she's in both episodes with the ice bag. So then the remaining question...
last episode we had the theory about the ice bag maybe's Blendon.
That's also true. So then the main question is, there is a 6-fingered hand and there is Ford's glasses.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Huh.
Because the glasses are explicitly Ford's glasses.
I'm on board with Wendy as Ice Bag. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
Mm-hmm.
Pacifica as Llama makes a decent amount of sense. I don't think I'm as 100% on that, but...
Another suggestion was the wax head of Larry King, who was the one who initially suggested the llama sweater to Mabel.
That's what I firmly believed.
Yes.
But that's interesting about the glasses and the 6 fingers. I had not thought... Oh, well, the 6 fingers could be... Didn't
McGucket?
Do we know McGucket had 6 fingers?
McGucket had 6 fingers only in the leak. But yes, there is an
fake
image. There is a fake image that is not canon to the show, but there is in fact an image of McGucket with 6 fingers.
Okay.
Gotcha.
This might be a little out there. I'm just trying to throw in a really big
Do
wrench
it.
because Lazy Susan was one of the people that woke up. Like, and it's because of her one eye. Like, and I know that eyes are a very important symbol here, so...
Absolutely.
Does she need glasses to open 2 of them? Like, I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah. In cartoon world, of course.
Can I tell you who I made the glasses as a joke in that what probably happens in?
Bodacious T?
Bodacious T.
Yeah,
He wears
yeah.
the same style of glasses as Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me, what happened to the founder?
Quentin Tremblay is out there somewhere.
And I mean, he had glasses, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He had little old-timey glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has never been said that anyone actually needs to wear these symbols looking identically to how they do on the chart. Because Wendy has
As
held
well as
2
the
ice
only ones
bags.
that we know... Yeah.
Well, Wendy has held 2 ice bags. 1 is on that model, 1 is not.
Because I mean, if you're just talking glasses, if that's the case, then it could be the Sheriff Blubbs, right?
Could be Sheriff Blubbs.
It could be.
Yeah.
Another popular fan theory is that they are McGucket's steampunk glasses he does when he was, even though they don't really look like it.
I will tell you the ones that we know 100% because Bill has called the people that. He has called Dipper Pine Tree, he has called Mabel Shooting Star, and he has called...
And he called Ford 6 fingers, right?
Sixer, yeah, he calls him Sixer.
He did.
Okay, I'm looking at
So
it right now.
Stan also called Ford Sixer, so we don't know if that's referring to the symbol.
Yes, a lot of people have thought that Sixer is the name of that symbol, and thus the glasses must be someone else. You're correct, David. So a lot of the question was not who is the hand and who is the glasses, but instead, if he called him Sixer, then he must be the hand. Who is the glasses?
He also, now that I remember, he at one point he had called Ford IQ.
That's amazing.
That's a BK Kids Club joke. You won't get that yet.
Yeah, you know how uncomfortable Ford is with the 90s. He called him that so he would research it, so he would get upset. It's like, why did he call me IQ? What kind of name for a person is IQ? And he goes to the library and he's like, oh, God. Oh, no.
Was the star Robbie? The pentagram.
The pentacle with the eye on it is on top of Gideon's tent and is also on his cape when he performs.
Okay. The heart is Robbie then, right?
The broken heart is on Robbie's hoodie. Yeah.
Okay. Question mark is Seuss? Yes, Seuss.
Yeah.
Yep.
We know that is
that's
confirmed.
Because Bill
confirmed.
calls
Question
Seuss question mark.
Pacifica's definitely llama. I still think it's Lazy
You're
Susan.
set on that? You're set on
I think
You're set on Pacifica
Well,
Llama.
yeah. Oh,
You're letting go of the pinata?
no, I'm not,
Really,
no,
Alexa?
I'm not letting go of the pinata. I never will.
then it'll break.
Yeah, exactly. I can't.
But I was firmly on Team Wax Larry King's head, unironically.
I honestly, I was on the cusp. What I thought was they're probably going to find a way to make it Pacifica, and it should be Wax Larry King's head.
Yeah.
I reject your reality and substitute my own. It is
I
Wax
recognize
Larry
that the
King's
council
head.
has made a decision.
I feel like glasses is Lazy Susan for some reason.
I like that.
If you look at the fence behind fake Wendy when she disintegrates, there is a key symbol and Dippy Fresh. That is the key to decode the credits cryptogram, which is in Visionaire Cipher. And when you decode that, it says, Craz and Xyler went on to run the legal department at a major children's television network. Wonder who they're talking about. What experiences did he have with legal where he was like, oh, you know what? It must have been
Craz and Xyler.
This must be another Blam reference.
The end card combination cipher translates to, when one gets trapped inside the past, dreams can turn to nightmares fast.
I like the rhyme.
Indeed, they can. Yeah, they've been on a good rhyming kick lately with these end cards.
And Ella, you've been on a good podcast.
I have been
on a good podcast. You know, the podcast that the three of our lovely guests host, Come On for Hugo Pods, or rather, the podcast Come On for Hugo Pods that David and Michael host, and the podcast within that podcast, Howdy Tot, hosted by Alexa.
Haughty. Hot, like.
But I like it because it's folksy if I say
Howdy Tot. You were on 2 episodes of Come On Fugu Pods.
I was. I got to talk about some lovely Homestar Runner tunes with these lovely people. And those will be out on Tuesday and Thursday of next week.
And if you'd like to hear that, or any of the previous 46 episodes of Mystery Shack Look Back, I don't know how we pulled that, or other podcasts like Escape from Walt Disney, How Did This Not Get Made? David really likes that one. Those are all available on our host network, pipedreampodcast.com. And also there, you can find links to our show's social medias, Discord server, and our Patreon. Patreon.com/Mystery Shack. $3 will get you a shout at the end of episodes. $5 will get you into viewing parties for the episode. And $40 get you a voice commission or an art commission, depending if you want it from Ella or I.
And you can check out our radical merch store at crowdmade.com/collection/Mystery Shack Lookback.
Wow, nice new shirt. Where'd you get that, bro?
Why, I got it from crowdmade.com/collection/Mystery Shack Lookback. It's totally righteous.
There are 2 people on your chest. That's awesome.
That's 2 more people than are normally on my chest. Radical.
And, if you have anything you would like to tell us, you can. We have a Discord server, and we have our email, mysteryshacklookback@gmail.com.
Well, not anything. If it's something that you feel like you should probably keep with your therapist.
Probably if it's personal, or like you've signed a non-disclosure agreement, that's probably a bad idea. But other than that...
Anything else?
Public things, go for it.
Thank you to Unrelated Human in the Mystery Shack Lookback Discord for the wonderful remix of our theme song today.
And thank you to Sim for making the instrumental to the Hall Conspiracies intro. There's a link to... It's a full song. Yay! There's words and everything. There's a link to it in the description. And thanks to Tsunami Holmes for creating the font we use in our thumbnails.
Adam, I'm not sure why you chose to turn our spit into bugs this week, but thank you for doing that, because
they're much
they
quieter.
Just crawled away. Yeah, well, they crawled away. Like, they're kind of noisy, but they crawled away from the mic, at least. They're, like, over there.
And, you can join us next week, June 15th, the 10-year anniversary of Gravity Falls, as myself, Ella, David, Michael, and Alexa will watch Gravity Falls, Season 2, Episode 20, Take Back the Falls. So... look forward to that next week. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And Ella...
I am, after this is done, going to go and purchase the rest of that tomato ASMR. I would like to play us out first. Take me back to the place I know, with the Mystery Shack and the forest gnomes. I'm already packed, so come on, let's go. Don't get me started. My heart's in Gravity Falls.
Hey, YouTube Ford.
Hello, table read Stan. Care to explain what you're doing in my lab?
Well, I charged a bunch of people a lot of money just to say their names. Suckers. Anyway, there's a lot of them, and I don't feel like, reading them all myself. You want to do some?
I have many moral objections to this, but you've tempted me with an organized list. Thank you, too, Daddy Driftwood.
And Daddy Buttons.
Friendly Local Geek.
Fun Boringness.
Hugh Salinas.
Juno Series, I guess it's pronounced.
Liz Clark.
David, oh boy, okay. Gansel?
You got it, yes, Gansel.
Aren't you Mr. Fancy?
I was voted Mr. Fancy 5 years running.
Don't remind me, I remember.
Richard Scanland.
Jamie Belts. I want to belt a couple of shots of whiskey after this list. Go ahead.
Ryan Faber.
Stephen Patrick Mulholland. Oh, Mulholland Drive. Very interesting. All right.
It's a good film. Gwen Prime.
Junior Bruh.
Joseph Jones.
Olive Pluto.
Oliver. There's an R there, Stan.
Oh, Oliver Pluto. I'm sorry. I was distracted by the object that's no longer a planet at the end.
Kuiper object. That's the term.
Whatever for. That was your thing, not mine. Oliver Pluto.
Petey Piranha Plant.
Elizabeth Neuenfeld.
Mumpleteen D. Wumpleteen.
Oh boy, these kids these days. Vanillin Sucker.
Zucker, not sucker.
Whatever. He's a sucker. He might be a Zucker, but he's also a sucker. Vanillin Zucker.
Ro Davis.
Adam with 2 A's, a D, and an M.
Delphine Dussy.
May? Just May.
Jessie Marie McDougal.
B. Calisoda.
Rich Rawl.
Easy Snake Oven.
Samantha Angley. And Spencer Neil Campbell. Stan, what are all these patrons paying for anyway?
Oh, just the essentials. This brown meat doesn't buy itself.
Nor does Fully Clothed Women magazine, evidently.
Hey, keep your hands off that. Help me stock up for the apocalypse at patreon.com/Mystery Shack.
Get those guests out of the museum. Come on.
You just talked about the worst part of our job when we had to chase out the last people in the museum at the end of the day.
And that's us.
Can I still buy photos?
If you work at a bar, it's always closing time. They invented closing time, the song, so you could play it at a bar, so you could be like, hey, everyone, please get away.
But David, Michael, Alexa, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know who I want to take me home.
Take us home.
Ba, ba, ba.
'Cause it's closing time.
'Cause it's closing time. Talking about that closing time. Talking about that closing time.
Da, 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 da.
Blah, 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 blah.